Today we are going to talk about picking, packing and PGI. Picking, first topic. Packing is a step in delivery that is optional. And we're not going to talk about packing, we're just going to assume that packing is a step and it is optional. It can be done, it need not be done. So just make sure that you know about packing as a step, but don't worry about packing. Okay? And the third step is PGI or post goods issue. Okay? Now, starting from the sales order. Let's start with the sales order. First, let's start with picking, and in order to do that, we have to start all the way with the sales order. Okay? First step is picking. So, what is picking? Why is picking done? So on and so forth. But before we go into picking, let's stop for a moment and talk about delivery. Because all of these actions are done in a delivery. Right? So delivery has its own document type, has its own item category, so on and so forth. And we have discussed that as a separate topic with its own separate video and notes. And before delivery, there is order. There is an order and there is a delivery. So, in how many situations can you create deliveries? Is it only with respect to order? Or are there some other documents with respect to which we can create delivery? We'll start from there and then slowly move towards picking and then move towards PGI. Okay? Now, there are many ways or many documents from which we can create deliveries. For example, order. With respect to an order, you can create a delivery. With respect to a return, you can create a return delivery. With respect to a scheduling agreement, you can create a delivery. These are the major examples of documents with respect to which you can create a delivery. Now, a pop quiz for you. Can you create a delivery with respect to a quotation? Yes or no?
Yes.
No.
Anybody says no?
I say no.
What do you guys think? Any other answers? Can you create a delivery with respect to a quotation? The answer is no. Okay, can you create a delivery with respect to an inquiry? Yes?
Again, no.
Anybody says yes?
I have to say yes because I have to go back my notes. I know you showed us two scenarios, which was better than I recall.
The answer is no. Can you create a delivery with respect to a contract? What about this? This is tricky. Can you create a delivery with respect to a contract? The answer to that is again no. Okay. Now, you have already gone through the copy control notes, right? So what is copy control? If you have not gone through copy controls, you just go through copy controls again. You will see the different kinds of document flows. And if you remember that, there is sales, there is delivery, there is billing, right? So this is how the documents flow. Now, whenever you create a delivery, it has to be created with reference to a sales document, right? Now, quotation, inquiry, contracts, not contracts, contracts is an exception, but quotation and inquiries, these are all called what? Satya, you have the answer. As opposed to an order, how do you classify these? Okay, now, these are pre-sales documents. So with reference to a pre-sale document, we cannot create a delivery because this is not really a promise of sale. Right? You cannot create deliveries with reference to pre-sales documents. Examples, quotation, inquiry. Now, why we cannot create a delivery with respect to a contract? Why we cannot do this? A contract is a promise to buy, let's say 1,000 quantity. You are Dell, I am a customer, a corporate customer. I come to you and sign a contract that I'm going to buy 1,000 pieces from you. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean it never stays in the contract when the delivery is going to happen. Okay? So, in order for a contract to actually trigger a delivery, there needs to be a sales document called release order. Okay? So, when we come to contracts, we can discuss what is the release order and all that. But just remember the one fact here that is important with respect to delivery. You cannot create a delivery with respect to a contract. Okay? A release order has to be created with reference to a contract, and only with respect to that release order, you can create a delivery. Okay? The exception to that, or on a side note rather, you can directly create a delivery with respect to what is called as a scheduling agreement. So what is a scheduling agreement? That's again another topic. Let's not worry too much. Now, let's just briefly visit the configuration of sales document type. I know we have already gone through that, but I want to show you one topic. Again, just a revisit of that topic. Let's take a quotation, QT. Go there, click OK, and go to shipping. Do you see anything there in that column, in that field called delivery type? Nothing. Blank. Okay. Now, again, I'm going to open another screen, okay, with OR. Let me minimize this and go here, and you'll see that the delivery has a delivery document type in the shipping section. So a thumb rule for you guys is, if you don't know systematically whether you can create a delivery with respect to a quotation, or whether you can create a delivery with respect to an inquiry, whether you can create a delivery with respect to a scheduling agreement or contract, if you don't know, the easiest way for you to find out is take that document, okay, go to sales document configuration, go to the shipping section, and look at the delivery type. Is there a delivery type mentioned? If the answer is yes, then you should understand that you can create a delivery with respect to this particular sales document. Right? For example, with respect to quotation, you cannot create it systematically, and this is your confirmation. Business-wise, you cannot create it, and this is the confirmation from the system that yes, you cannot create it.
Can we choose any value in that drop down over there?
You can choose it, but does it really make sense is what you have to understand.
Okay.
Right? You can choose it. You can maybe choose it, but does it really make sense? Because the document category has some controls behind the scenes that will prevent a quotation from being delivered. Okay? So you're not supposed to bypass those controls. It will lead to more trouble. Okay? So now you understand from what document types, meaning from what sales document types, you can create a delivery. Okay? And you also understand how to check whether a particular sales document type can be delivered or not. Okay? We understood two things. What are the two things? First thing, typically, what are the sales document types that can be delivered? First thing. Second thing, how to identify in the system systematically by going to VOV8 whether the sales document can be delivered. Okay? These two things you understand. Any questions here? No questions? Okay, we're going to move on to the next topic, which is, okay, you are trying to deliver a document, which is a document type that can be delivered. Okay? Now, what are the different modes in which you can do the delivery? Like we discussed yesterday, there are two ways in which you can do deliveries, mainly. Okay? First method is direct delivery. The second method is batch. So BATCH, batch delivery. Or there are many names for it. I'll list out all the names. Delivery queue list. They all refer to the same thing. Or nightly batch process for delivery. They all refer to the same thing. What is the transaction code for that? This is VL01N. This is VL04. This is an online transaction. Meaning the user will execute it by going to VL01N, typically. VL01N will be entered in the transaction and then the delivery will be done. That's why it's called a direct delivery or manual delivery. As opposed to a batch which is not executed directly online. It can be, but it is not generally. It is executed as a batch process, meaning VL04 will be set on autopilot using a batch process. How is a batch process scheduled? We have seen that yesterday. A batch process is scheduled via SM36 and SM37. Okay, so this is scheduled to run at a particular interval, every day, every hour, every week. An online transaction is manually executed by the user. That is the main difference between these two. Okay? Two modes in which you can do deliveries. Direct delivery, batch delivery. Direct delivery, you create one delivery at a time. Okay. For one order, you are doing the delivery. In batch process, VL04, you can set a range. For example, create all deliveries within this range. Or create all deliveries for the shipping point. create all deliveries for this plant, create all deliveries for the US. So all of them will be created as deliveries in the system automatically. You don't have to individually do BL01. A scenario where this will be useful, or rather, in most of the cases, in most of the companies, there will be at least hundreds of deliveries that need to be created per day. Hundreds. And you cannot manually create all these deliveries every day. It's a pain. So the batch process will automatically take care of creating those deliveries. Hundreds, thousands, whatever it is, it's a batch process. Systematically, it will generate all of them. Okay. The second thing, or the second advantage with batch process is the deliveries or orders 6 months in the past that need to be created now can be automatically taken care of. Let me give you an example. Okay. Today is what? This is September, right? So September 1st. There is an order that is created. Okay. Now, the delivery, the schedule line date here, the schedule line date says the delivery is due on September 25th. That's when we'll get the goods and we'll have the goods ready. And let's say on September 2nd, there is an order created, and this order is due on, the schedule line says it's due on September 10th. And then there were many hundreds of orders that were already created. Different orders for different customers. Now, who is going to manually remember that on September 5th, a delivery needs to be created? Nobody has that time and patience, right? So on September 25th, somebody has to go into that order and manually create that delivery. Who can do that? And who can remember that order? It's very difficult. That's why, like I said, VL04, the batch process will be run, and it will say the way it is run is something like this. VL04, okay? It will be run like this. Don't worry about the delivery date in the past, but create deliveries until now. Look at the way it is done. Create all deliveries that are due until now, meaning yesterday, day before that, 1 month from now, any delivery that is due now, start creating it. And like I said, you can restrict it by country, like sales org, distribution channel, division. You can restrict it by route, you can restrict it by order number if you like, you can restrict it by sold to party. There are many restrictions that you can place on it. And then you hit execute, and all the orders that are due up until this point will be created for you, will be delivered for you. Meaning, like if you execute it like this, right? So it will list all the different orders, and then you can just say, deliveries will be created automatically. Okay? Oops. Something is wrong with that, with the variant. Don't worry. That's how it is run. Like I said, that program will be set in SM36 as a batch process, and your deliveries will be created, period. Any questions on this concept of batch process, VL04 selection, setting it up as a process? Okay. Now let's move on to the delivery itself. Let's say the delivery has been created. That's not the end of it. The delivery creation is the first step in the delivery. What are the subsequent steps? After it has been created, delivery has to be picked, delivery has to be packed, delivery has to be PGI'd. There might be many
I have a question. I have a small question. So we set the schedule in SM36 and we execute the batch delivery using VL04. Is that right? Is that statement right?
In SM36, VL04 will be set up to be executed as a batch process. That is the correct statement.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now, there might be multiple steps here, like I was telling you. For example, let's take the example of Dell. You order a PC from Dell. The PC needs to be delivered. So there is an order and there is a delivery. In the delivery, the computer needs to be picked, the computer needs to be packed, and the computer, of course, needs to be PGI'd. Is that it? No. There may be many steps in between picking and PGI. For example, after it is picked, there will be a serial number, like a barcode or whatever, right? So you have a barcode will be scanned, and that serial number will be assigned to that line item. If you want, I can give you an example of how it is done. Okay, so select that line item, go to extras, serial numbers. If the serial number profile is assigned to that material, then there will be a pop-up that comes up where you can scan and enter that serial number. We are not talking about that in the delivery, because it's a step that is not always done. It's an optional step. If serial number management is enabled for a material master by enabling a serial profile, yes, you need to enter a serial number. But that's an optional step. Let's not worry about it. Similarly, after it is packed, what do? There will be a FedEx station or a UPS station, depending on the mode of transport that you choose, like 10-day ground, 3-day, 1-day overnight. Depending on that, there will be stations where you put that PC on that station and then punch in some code. A printout will come up, a sticker that will say, okay, what is the ship to address, so on and so forth, and what is the total price. Total price of the freight, how much it's going to cost them. Okay, FedEx is going to come and install a machine there that will say, okay, you do however many shipments you want, you take all the printouts will come as a sticker, and that sticker you put it on your box, and then you can just, my trucking guy will come, he'll pick up your delivery. That's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. That labeling, right? And labeling is an additional step here. I'm not going to talk about it because it's a step that is small and that's trivial, and you don't have to worry too much about it. Right? So, there are many subsequent steps there, but we are not going to talk about all of them in detail. We are only going to talk about picking and PGI. Packing also we are not going to talk, because packing is not a mandatory step. Not all goods need to be packed. So packing is not an option. Mandatory step. We are not going to talk about packing also. Bare minimum. Picking, PGI. Both of these are required. Okay. Now, just one more question. Is picking always required? Like we discussed, in configuration of item category of delivery, go to logistics execution, shipping, deliveries, maintain delivery item category. You go to TAN says relevant for picking. What does that mean? Relevance for picking, or go to tab or TAQ. For tab, relevance for picking is not there. What does this mean? Let me interpret that for you. So let's continue with the same concept of Dell. Dell sells a PC, one quantity. This PC, line item 10, contains a monitor, line item 20, line item 30, keyboard. This example we have done in the system, right? What is the item category for it? Tab, and higher level is 10, 10. That means these are components of the top level part. Now, this will also come through to the delivery. But can you pick a PC which is a phantom part? You cannot. You have to explicitly pick a monitor, you have to explicitly pick a keyboard, and both of them combined together will become a virtual part called the PC. So this is not relevant for picking, but these are. And that is controlled by what? Delivery item category. The delivery item category controls whether a line item can be picked or not. And why you won't pick certain line items in a delivery? Take this Dell example, PC example, everything will be clear.
Just some comment here. So I know we said we were not going to talk about packing here, but just my brain is from scenario. If the guy is working at the shipping point, is picking up keyboard, the monitor, the CPU, whatever, and then it's putting them in a box, doing the packing part. That's where the packing is going to come, I guess.
Yes.
To make it a one big package for a consumer to pick it as one item.
Yes. There are different modes in which you can do packaging. First, you have to define the packaging material. Then sometimes handling unit management is used. How are things supposed to be packed? Can we pack two different things together, or do we need to pack them individually? There are many rules that come in packing. But that's more or less a topic that's not used very much in the industry. Packing is not used a lot, because there will typically be external systems that will do packaging. So packaging, I would say, ignore. Okay. Most of the time, packing is done by external systems. They'll have some smaller, very, very small, niche, focused systems that will do packaging for them. So in the system, packaging is not done in SAP, but they'll be done externally in the system, in another system, and we'll continue with the PGI. So it's not used a lot in the industry, so let's not worry about it. Okay, so that is picking. So now, we know how picking is configured. It is configured at the delivery item category level. Okay. What is picking in the first place? Picking is very simple. Imagine a warehouse, right? In this place, okay, in this place, this is the front office, let's say. This is where they do all that stuff. And the rest of the area is all used for storage. So there is an order. The truck is waiting here. Okay, the truck is waiting here. There is an order to be delivered. Order is for one PC. We are just simplifying it to one PC. Okay, there is one PC that needs to be delivered. This is where there is a freight machine, there is a weighing machine for freight. This is where there is packaging, meaning some cardboard, some tape, and all that stuff is there in that station. And the freight station is here. And then this is all empty space, meaning people can work, do packaging. They need some space, right? So this area is called staging area, where they can have some space to work to complete the delivery. But before they can do anything on the delivery, first they have to pick the material from the warehouse. They will be stored somewhere here in the third aisle, fourth row, 8th bin, 10th column. We don't know how the warehouse is structured, organized. We don't care. They will be stored somewhere. Imagine a Costco warehouse, right? You go to Costco, the way it is stored is very different from the way Walmart stores things, right? If you ask for milk, how will the Costco buyer talk to you? He'll say, okay, fourth aisle, third column, or fourth aisle, second row, third row, or third whatever, right? That's how he'll reply. But if you go to Walmart, if you ask for milk, they'll say, go to the refrigerator section, right? So Costco is the nearest thing that we have as an end consumer have seen a warehouse. But imagine a warehouse that is just meant for storing goods. It will be much more bigger and much more complicated in terms of how goods are picked, how many racks they can store the goods. In Costco, although they store the goods 4 or 5 different racks up above, you are not really supposed to go up and break those things down, because we as customers cannot go and do all that stuff. So in a warehouse, yes, the person has to go up and get the goods from there, because that's their role, that's their job. And how they get and what material do they use to get, for example, if it is a monitor, they can just go there and pick that monitor by hand and come down to the staging area. But if 10 monitors are required, can they go each time half a furlong to that location and bring 1 monitor each? No. They'll take a forklift. Go to that place. Forklift will be elevated to that particular rack. All the monitors will be loaded, and the forklift will be brought down to the staging area. Right? This is species. Now imagine you are selling iron ore. 1,000 tons of iron ore need to be supplied to the Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania steel plant. What can you use? Not forklift. You will have to use what? Trucks. So how you do picking is very subjective and dependent on the nature of the material, nature of the warehouse, and you don't have to really worry about it. It is how you internally do it is a topic for WM consultant, warehouse management consultant. So we don't care. What we need to worry about is if you go to a delivery, like go to VL02N, okay, in the picking section, there will be something called as overall WM status. At the very beginning of creating a delivery, it will be in either of these stages, either blank or A. Why it is blank? Why it is A? When it is blank, then it is A. That is dependent on your enterprise structure. So in your enterprise structure, there will be a plant, there will be a sales org, distribution channel, division, and then company code, blah, blah, blah. And then there will be a plant. A plant will be associated with a storage location. Both plant and storage location together will be associated to what? Warehouse.
So one quick question here. VL02N is the command for picking?
No, that is to change the delivery. There is no command for picking.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you go to the sales org, distribution channel, and division, and look at this assignment of which sales org is assigned to which plant, and which plant is assigned to which storage location, and which plant and storage location combination is assigned to warehouse. Not all plants are assigned to warehouse, but our 1,000 is associated. 1,000 and 1,200 plants, they are associated with the warehouse. If this association is there, that means that warehouse management is implemented. If this association is not there, then WM is not implemented. This is the thumb rule. Okay? If you assign a warehouse to the plant storage location combination, then warehouse management is implemented in SAP. That is the thumb rule. If you go to a new system or if you go to an existing system and see, this is how you verify whether warehouse management is implemented in SAP or not. Okay? Now, if warehouse management is assigned to the plant storage location combination, then you cannot do manual picking. Example, Let me try to create an order for you. Let me try to deliver it. Picking quantity will be grayed out in the picking section. Why? Because it says A. Why does it say A and not plant? Because 1200 plant is associated to a warehouse. How do I know? I can find out by going to SPRO, IMG, enterprise structure, assignment, logistics general. I think it's in material management. Right, logistics execution, I believe. Assign warehouse number to plant storage location. So go to plant 1200. 1200 storage location is assigned to the warehouse number 012. If this entry did not exist, then this will be not be grayed out. It will be blank and you can just manually go and enter one here. Very simple. And this would automatically be not relevant. So that is what is triggering this overall WM status. Is that clear? Okay. So that is what triggers.
Warehouse is associated with the plant 1200.
There will be multiple warehouses assigned to a plant 1200, but by storage location, there will be only one warehouse. For example, look at this. One storage location, one warehouse.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is what triggers picking and what are the different kinds of picking. Now, manual picking is very simple. A warehouse should not be associated with a plant, and in which case, this will be blank, and you can just go and manually pick. Now, what happens if warehouse management is there? You cannot do picking. What does it mean? The system is saying, dude, you cannot pick the goods yourself here. The warehouse people have to do it for you. So the person in the staging area will just keep quiet, create the delivery and say, boss, I need the delivery to be done. Somebody in the warehouse, knock, knock, please deliver this, please pick this. And then the delivery number will be what? So and so, some delivery number, 8001624. So the person doing the delivery in the warehouse, what they will do? They will do this transfer order. How they will do it? They will not go via VL0 to N. From VL0 to N, the way we do it is go to subsequent functions, create transfer order. But the way they do it is, if you look at this, the transaction is LT03. They'll go to LT03, create transfer order, they'll put that delivery number there, they'll put that warehouse number there, enter, and then they'll do whatever is required here. See, what they do is not relevant for us. They'll create the transfer order. Okay? Once that is done, you go to VL, they'll say, okay, we have picked the order, we have done the transfer order, check your delivery now. Now you'll open the delivery and see that the picking is already done. Okay? That means they have picked the goods and they have sent it to the staging area. Now you can start doing the next steps, which is packing, freight, labeling, whatever other steps. Okay? The step that we do here is like a shortcut. Subsequent functions create transfer order. You can do it like this, or in general, there will be a warehouse person who will go to LT03 transaction, enter the delivery number, enter the warehouse number, and create the picking for it. Okay? Picking is done. Let's say subsequent steps like serial numbers, packaging, so on and so forth are also done. And then you do what is called as a PGI. What is a PGI? among all the steps that we have done here, this is the most important step. Although it is just a very trivial step in terms of actually doing it. All you have to do is click on this button, that's it. But what's actually happening behind the scenes? It's called post goods issue. How do you interpret it? Post. Post means you have to post it to accounts. When you say post, think of it as to accounts. Post. The issue. Why issue? Because we are issuing goods to the customer. Of goods. Interpret it like that. Post to accounts the issue of goods. Issue means outbound delivery. We are issuing goods to the customer using outbound delivery. Why is this step important and what is really happening in this case? Now in order to understand this, we have to understand the concept of stock, the concept of valuation. What is our stock? How is our stock valuated? What is inventory? So on and so forth. I'll just briefly go over them. Let us say M01, there is a quantity of 100. How do you find out what is the total stock of M01 in a particular plant at any given point in time? What is the transaction to find out the amount of stock? MMBE. You go to MMBE at any given point, you can find out what is the total stock that is available by plant, by storage location, by batch, by company code, blah, blah, blah. Many different ways. Okay, this is the current stock as per SAP's knowledge. By plant, by company code, by storage location, you have a stock. Okay, how much unrestricted stock is there? How much is in quality? How much is consumed for orders? Or so forth. How much is it in reserve? How much is consigned? So on and so forth. Okay. Now there is a delivery. Let's say there is an order and there is a delivery, and the delivery is being picked. Picked means some goods is picked from the warehouse. Does it change the quantity in MMBE? No. The goods are being packed. The serial number is being put in. Does it change the quantity according to SAP? No. The goods have been put in the truck. The truck has left the warehouse. Does it change the quantity in SAP? No. So when is the actual quantity reduced? Let's say the order is for quantity 10. You have picked a delivery of 10. You have packed it. You have put serial numbers. You have put freight label. You have done all the steps that are necessary for doing the delivery. You have loaded it into the truck. The truck has left the warehouse. That's it. The goods are gone. But the system still thinks that there is a quantity of 100. Unless you do this step called PGI. And that's when the system will say, okay, 10 minus. So total now is 90. So what is PGI? It is the actual process of updating the stock with the goods that have left the warehouse or with the goods that have come into the warehouse. When will goods come into the warehouse? In case of returns. In which case, the alternate name for it is PGR, Post Goods Receipt. As simple as that. Post Goods Issue, Post Goods Receipt. Post Goods Issue is for outbound. Post Goods Receipt is for inbound. So only when this step is done will your accounts and inventory be updated. Any questions on this?
when we are doing the LR, so the post code issue button would be replaced by post code receive button, is it?
No, it will look the same, post goods issue, but the process is called post goods receipt.
Okay. So the button
The button will look the same.
okay. It would still say post code issue, right?
Right.
Okay.
Any questions here? This is a very important step.
So PGI is basically updating the MMBE and the accounts, right?
Updating the inventory and accounts. MMB is just a transaction to view the stock. So MMB is not updated. Post goods issue or post goods receipts updates the inventory and updates the stock. And
that updates can be viewed by MMBE.
MMB, perfect. And for example, if we have done post goods issue here, go to document flow and you can find out the post goods issue here. See, go check on that, click on display document and go to accounting document. And you can see the actual accounts that have been updated. Okay, it's still compiling. Just give it a second. Okay, look at, oh, that is the, I just wanted to show you the accounts that are updated. There will be one debit and one credit. That's it. One debit is into the account inventory account, one debit is to the cost of goods account. There is a separate topic called consignment where we will discuss this in more detail. What happens in case of the different ways in which you can do this PGI, PGR, so on and so forth. There are different ways in which you do it and different accounts that get affected because of that. So, we will have a detailed discussion on that at that point. As of now, just understand that. Okay. All right then. So, any other questions on PGI, PGR?
I have some